Winter transfer windows tend to be not as busy as summer months, as clubs would rather not part with their leaders halfway through the season. However, that didn't prevent Chelsea from splashing the cash last winter, with little to no end product, we have to say, as the team is currently struggling in the middle of the table. At the same time, we can't deny all the successful winter transfers we have seen, and in January 2024, we might expect a bunch of fascinating signings worth keeping an eye on. So today we would like to tell you about the most anticipated signings of the upcoming transfer window. But before we begin, we have a question for you. Which one of these players cost Barcelona more? Alexis Sanchez, Malcolm, Paco Alcácer, Paulinho? Feel free to leave your answers in the comments. And now, let's get into it. Aaron Ramsdale, Chelsea. The Arsenal goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale has now lost his place in the first 11 to the lonely David Raya. Despite his two solid campaigns for Arsenal, the Englishman has only started 4 games since the match against Manchester United in September, and 2 of these games were against Brentford, Raya's club he is not allowed to play against. The Spaniard has a buyout clause of €35 million on his loan contract, and considering the amount of playing time he's getting, Mikel Arteta would surely wish to make the deal permanent. As for Ramsdale, the Englishman is obviously disappointed with the situation, especially in the light of his performance in 2 previous seasons. But Arteta seems to be convinced about David Raya being the better option, in terms of both footwork and actual goalkeeping. That is why Aaron is now considering a move to another London club. Chelsea have recently lost their first-choice keeper Robert Sanchez due to injury and see Ramsdale as one of their short-term options. At the same time, should Aaron do well for his new club, there's nothing that can prevent him from becoming a new first-choice keeper for the Blues. After all, it's not like Sanchez had been flawless before the injury, his footwork first of all. However, we still don't know if Ramsdale would agree on joining a club that is not ready to guarantee him anything, just like we don't know if Arsenal would let him leave this winter. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and Calvin Phillips, Juventus. The Bianconeri have been having a decent season so far, in spite of their lack of quality and depth in midfield. While the team is currently going second in the league, the situation with the squad is only getting worse, as Paul Pogba, who had to miss the bigger part of the previous season due to injuries, may now face a 4-year ban for a positive doping test. The Frenchman is not the only Juventus player whose career is now in danger. The young Niccolò Fagioli was also given a long-term ban for violating betting rules. Even though the Italian faced a much more lenient punishment, he'll still have to miss 7 months of football. All these things considered, Juventus are in dire need of a new midfielder. Among their options, there are 2 Premier League players, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg from Tottenham and Calvin Phillips from Manchester City, both ready to leave their clubs due to the lack of playing time. Højbjerg has lost his place in the first 11 not that long ago, when the new manager Ange Postecoglou took over Tottenham, while Calvin Phillips has been struggling at City since last summer. They both are going to be available for signing in January, so Juventus will have to decide which player to go for. Another problem is the club's finances, so Juve can only afford a loan deal at the moment and hope for the other club to pay a part of the player's salary. Those are not the best of terms, but the Bianconeri are nonetheless determined to bring in a new midfielder in the nearest future. Giovanni Lo Celso, Barcelona. The November international break left Barcelona without their midfield leader Gavi, who is going to miss the rest of the season because of his cruciate ligament injury. That is why Barca are now looking for a replacement in midfield, at least a short-term one. The Tottenham midfielder Giovanni Lo Celso is believed to be Xavi's #1 priority. The Argentine has been struggling in the Premier League since he moved to London in 2019, but now the new manager Postecoglou is reluctant to let him leave for yet another loan, as he sees Lo Celso as the right player for his attacking playstyle. And the problem is that Barca can only afford a loan offer, while Tottenham has no interest in loaning out the midfielder. The Blaugrana's hopes are now on Tottenham strengthening their squad and letting Lo Celso once again join a La Liga side, as he has already had loan spells at Betis and Villarreal. By the way, Lo Celso has only made 2 first-11 appearances so far this season and scored in each of them, against Aston Villa first and then against Man City. Benjamin Šeško, Arsenal. The Slovenian striker could have moved to England back in summer 2022, but Manchester United ultimately decided against signing Šeško due to RB Salzburg's demands of 80 million euros. Later that year, Benjamin changed Salzburg for Leipzig, but remained in Austria for one more season. This campaign has been his first in the Bundesliga, and so far the striker's stats have been far from impressive. At the same time, he has only started 3 Bundesliga matches for RB Leipzig and scored all of his 3 goals after coming in as a sub. In addition to his 3 league goals, Šeško has also scored 2 in the Champions League and 2 in the German Cup. However, Šeško's goal totally didn't prevent him from becoming Arsenal's transfer target, after only half a season at Leipzig. The Gunners could do with a new striker, and Mikel Arteta considers the 20-year-old Šeško the right player for his system. However, if Leipzig are going to sell the player mid-season is a big question right now, so Arsenal will most likely have to make some big spendings if they want the Slovenian to join them this January. Serhou Guirassy, Newcastle, Manchester United, AC Milan. The Guinean striker Guirassy is one of the biggest discoveries of this Bundesliga season. Serhou has scored 17 goals in 14 matches for Stuttgart so far. Just so you can compare, the best scorer in the Bundesliga, Harry Kane, has 21 goals in 15 games. Taking into consideration the whole team's goal tally of 37, it's hard to underestimate Guirassy's impact, which has helped his side climb up to 3rd place in the league. Of course, such numbers have drawn attention from numerous big clubs, and the fact that the player's buyout clause is to activate in April makes his signing even more lucrative. After all, 20 million euros is a ridiculous sum for one of the most prolific scorers in Europe, and top clubs are going to be more than willing to spend them on Guirassy. Among the clubs already interested are the 2 English sides Newcastle and Manchester United, as well as the Italian side AC Milan. As for Serhou, he's yet to make up his mind, so each of these clubs still has time to come up with the offer the player will find the most appealing. João Palhinha, Bayern, Arsenal. The Portuguese midfielder was but a step away from joining Bayern on the last day of the summer transfer window. João came to Munich, passed the medical and even took a picture with the club's shirt, but Fulham cancelled the deal all of a sudden as they were unable to find a replacement for Palhinha. Though the player was obviously upset, he remained a model professional and not only kept working hard at training, but also signed a new contract with Fulham a few weeks later. However, the 28-year-old midfielder would still love to join a bigger club, and Fulham is ready to let João leave if there comes a decent offer. Bayern, in turn, is believed to be his most possible destinations, as Thomas Tuchel is still more than interested in signing the Portuguese. However, the German side isn't quite ready to meet Fulham's demand of 60 million euros, which makes us also consider Arsenal as Palhinha's future club. While the Gunners would rather bring in Douglas Luiz from Aston Villa, the Villains' demands are twice as high as Fulham's, more than 120 million euros. So Arsenal might as well go for the more affordable option in the face of Palhinha. Rafael Varane, Nordi Mukiele, Bayern. The United defender Varane is no longer a first-choice option for Erik ten Hag, even despite his most solid 20-23 campaign. His centre-back duo with Lisandro Martinez brought long-awaited balance to the team and helped Manchester United win the League Cup and bring Champions League football back to Old Trafford. At the same time, the Frenchman's poor form this season hasn't gone unnoticed by the manager, so the 30-year-old Varane has only played 431 minutes of football in the Premier League so far, with but a couple of first-11 appearances. Despite all the hardships, Varane would rather stay at Man United, but only if he's given the playing time he wants. Otherwise, he will most likely ask for a transfer. As it is claimed by the English media, Rafael's contract actually rounds out this summer, and not in summer 2025 as it was previously believed. Such rumors couldn't help but spawn more rumors considering the Frenchman's future and his possible move in January. Bayern Munich is believed to be the most interested side due to their problems in defense, but despite Thomas Tuchel's interest, the German side is yet to make an offer. Another Bayern's option is another Frenchman, Nordi Mukiele from PSG, who's also lacking playing time under Luis Enrique. The former Leipzig defender would rather return to Germany, as he's far from happy with his 4 first-11 appearances so far. However, there's only one thing that can prevent the move from happening: Achraf Hakimi taking part in the African Cup of Nations in January. As Mukiele plays both as a centre and right back, PSG may now want to risk their squad depth this winter. Casemiro, PSG, Al Nassr. The Brazilian's Manchester United spell has had a lot in common with Varane so far. The Brazilian joined United in summer 2022 for €70,650,000 and had a fantastic first season, once again proving his world-class quality. Apart from his defensive responsibilities, Casemiro scored 7 goals and made 6 assists in all competitions, which helped United qualify for the Champions League and win the League Cup. Anyway, just like Rafael Varane, Casemiro seems to have lost Ten Hag's trust due to his form, hampered by the injury he suffered in October. The United coaching staff seems to be completely disappointed with the Brazilian, and the club is now ready to sell him once they receive a decent offer. PSG are reported to be following the 31-year-old Brazilian. The Parisians could do with a midfielder of his experience and would love to bring the 5-time Champions League winner to Parc des Princes. At the same time, Casemiro may go for another option and reunite with his old teammate Cristiano Ronaldo at Al Nassr. The Saudi Arabian club is ready to come up with an incredibly lucrative offer, and the money may ultimately persuade both the player and the club, as United may be easily tempted to make something out of their poor deal. Jean-Claire Todibo, Manchester United. The Red Devils were about to sign a new centre-back in summer, but had to stick with what they already had due to their limited transfer budget. But the needs remain, and Manchester United are ready to make spending in the upcoming transfer window. Jean-Claire Todibo is believed to be their most desired option. The former Barcelona defender, who has evolved into an elite player at Nice, the 23-year-old Frenchman is good both at defending and carrying the ball, which makes his signing so appealing for United. As it was reported, Nice's demands are going to be at least €40 million, which is a reasonable price for a player of Todibo's quality and potential. However, the Red Devils haven't made up their mind just yet, as they may still go for another promising centre-back instead. Gonçalo Inácio, Arsenal, Manchester United. And that is the Sporting Lisbon defender Gonçalo Inácio. The Portuguese side would rather keep the player until the end of the season, but the €60 million release clause may ruin their plans, provided some big club comes from Inácio in January. The Red Devils are still uncertain about spending €60 million on the 22-year-old Portuguese, while they can always go for Todibo for a smaller price, and that might be an opportunity for another Premier League club, Arsenal. While the Gunners don't necessarily need another left-footed centre-back, as they already have Gabriel Magalhães, Mikel Arteta is a big fan of Inácio, who has already scored 2 goals and made 2 assists in 5 appearances for Portugal. Timo Werner, Manchester United, AC Milan. The former Chelsea striker Timo Werner is still struggling despite his return to RB Leipzig. After his glorious 1920 season at Leipzig, the one he finished with 30 goals in all competitions, the German is yet to recapture his form after his disastrous 2-year spell at Chelsea. Timo Werner scored 16 goals and made 7 assists last season, but Leipzig still went for the record-breaking €38.5 million Louis Openda signing to add quality in attack. Apart from Openda, there was another signing that was Benjamin Šeško, the one we've already told you about. All these transfers resulted in a terrible lack of playing time for Werner. Only 203 minutes in the Bundesliga and 2 first-11 appearances so far this season. Timo is obviously unhappy with the situation. His club in turn seems to have lost all the trust in Werner, so Leipzig are ready to let him leave in January. Speaking of Timo's options, Manchester United would like to bring the German back to the Premier League, while Milan could also do with a new attacker. How much will the signing cost his new club? We can't tell for sure, but taking into consideration the fee of 20 million euros Leipzig paid Chelsea in summer 2022, we might expect it to be much less this time. Jadon Sancho, Borussia Dortmund, Juventus. At the beginning of this season, a conflict between Jadon Sancho and Erik ten Hag emerged at Manchester United. The manager publicly accused the Englishman of poor work ethics after the match against Arsenal and claimed it was the reason for him not being included in the squad. In response, Sancho made a post on social media accusing Ten Hag of lying. The Dutchman was quick to react as he suspended Sancho from the training until he apologized. But the apologies are yet to come, and Sancho still remains isolated from the rest of the team, months after the incident. The Englishman has even been prohibited to attend the club's dining room. Sancho's disciplinary problems seem to be the final straw for United, so the Red Devils have now given up on their 80 million worth attacker and are ready to sell him. The Italian side Juventus are believed to be the most interested side. However, due to the above-mentioned financial problems, the Bianconeri can only afford a loan offer, and Sancho's hefty salary of 350,000 euros a week doesn't make the situation better. All things considered, Juventus need Manchester United to pay the bigger part of Sancho's salary, which is not a part of the Red Devils' plans. As for Sancho's other options, there is also interest coming from his old club, Borussia Dortmund, but just like Juventus, the BVB board are not ready to pay the player's full salary. As a result, while Manchester United would love to get rid of Jadon Sancho, they will still need to compromise on the terms of the deal, whatever club comes for him. Ivan Toney, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal. The Brentford striker Ivan Toney became third best goalscorer of the 22-23 Premier League season with 20 goals in 33 matches. At the end of the season, Ivan was given a ban for betting on his own side, which is why he hasn't made a single appearance this season. His ban ends in January, and despite his recent lack of involvement, there's a bunch of big clubs keeping an eye on the Englishman. Chelsea is believed to be the most obvious option for Toney, as the Blues are in dire need of a new striker. Another London club, Arsenal, would also like to add quality to their attack, just like their arch-rivals Tottenham, who are yet to find a proper replacement for Harry Kane. As claimed by their manager Thomas Frank, Brentford have no intention to letting Ivan Toney go this winter, while the British media say otherwise. The 27-year-old striker would gladly try himself at a bigger club, but his club's demands may become his biggest obstacle. It is believed that Brentford will ask for 80 or even 100 million euros for Toney, and not many clubs are willing to make such spendings mid-season. However, Chelsea have already proven themselves to be an exception to that rule, so let's see if they are up for one more big winter signing. Victor Osimhen, Chelsea. While there's an option with Toney, is the 24-year-old Nigerian who is currently the top priority for Pochettino's side. Victor Osimhen was the best goalscorer in the Serie A last season with his 26 goals and helped Napoli win the title for the first time since 1990. At the beginning of this season, Victor suddenly fell out with the Napoli board because of a TikTok video mocking his penalty miss posted by the club's SMM. The Nigerian took it personally and announced his desire to leave the club. Since then, there's been a lot of rumors featuring various top clubs, including Real Madrid. However, this option was soon dismissed as Los Blancos can't afford the deal, as claimed by the Spanish media. As Osimhen's contract with Napoli was meant to last until 2025, Chelsea's hopes were on persuading the Italian club to sell the player this winter. There were more and more rumors featuring Victor's possible move to Stamford Bridge, but the player suddenly changed his mind and signed a new contract with Napoli. However, there's now a release clause on his contract, 130 million euros. Will Chelsea pay such a hefty sum? We can't tell for sure, but they do have a name of a club always eager to splash the cash, so anything is possible. Winter transfer window is often considered a possibility to bring in a replacement for injured players or add depth to the squad with no high expectations involved. However, a good signing still can become a massive boost to the whole team and turn the tides of the season. Dear friends, please let us know in the comments which of these transfers you would like to see this winter, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel if you enjoy our videos. Thank you for watching and see you soon.